Hey guys, Mass Bandit here, and a little something different today. Not a bro coaster, but I guess sort of a broy-esque video. We have N7, as always, here with me.
Brilliant as always, John. Brilliant as always.
That's my intros are amazing, and we have say hi.
Oh, hi.
There you go.
Hi guys.
And there we go. And we have with us a very special guest today from NoLimits 2. We have Roundup with us here today.
Hi everybody, how you doing?
We're doing just fantastic. So
he is the director of communication and director of winning.
There you go. See, you know more about I'm just here for the ride, gentlemen. So
nice pun.
Well, you are clear to dispatch. Enjoy the ride.
There we go. So anyway, we're here to discuss NoLimit 2's big Roundup 200, which just a couple weeks ago was finalized. Yeah, That's a good way to say it. And we're here to kind of talk about the top 10 and talk about NoLimits and kind of geared towards all of us Planet Coaster people. Because up front, I dabbled in NoLimits 2 and said, yeah, this is really, for me, kind of challenging. And I know that, we were talking before we started recording, you kind of want to touch on that.
Absolutely. That's we're familiar with that. And here to kind of break through some of that, some of the perceptions around NoLimits, and we'll talk about that a little bit further. These big mega roundups do a great job of showcasing what's possible, and they're also a little bit intimidating because people are obviously, when you just start working with it, you're not going to go straight to Strathmore. There's some time to build up the skills in there. However, that should never dissuade anybody. You know, it's like getting into any kind of other professional software like Photoshop or any 3D modeling tool. You're not going to start off as an expert. You do have to spend some time learning the tool. Just like everybody, when you dove into Planet Coaster or RCT3, you weren't making spectacular, massive creations as soon as you launched the software for the first time. You had to learn the interface. You had to learn how to design tracks in there. You had to learn how the controls worked, learn what was possible, what was not possible. Start putting your creations out there, get feedback, see how it worked, take that feedback internally, figure out a different way to do it, and keep trying, and eventually now you're creating big, gigantic masterpieces. It's the same thing, just with a different building system and NoLimits, and happy to talk a little bit more to break through some of those mental barriers that pop up.
Yeah.
But first,
perhaps you don't know me. I'm N7 of Planet BroCoaster. Okay, I'm the one that did a concrete pad. I'm pretty amazing.
Your paths are ridiculous. That's crazy. Like of concrete from up. Really good.
Yeah, it seemed to work pretty well.
Very cool. Yeah. Very, very cool. I really like the way you've extended that.
Like, all right, that's cool, which is cool.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesomely boring. But it's good. I think it works. I think it really works.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And then your awesome fence too. That's great.
That's an amazing concrete pad.
That was some great. For me, I think you just hit on it. You called it professional software like Photoshop, and in the Planet Coaster community, because that's what I'm familiar with, I hear so many people call NoLimits 2 a game. Right. And I think that might be one of the big is I go in, oh, it's a game. Let me go in and holy crap. And it's not. It's software, and you do have to learn it. I mean, are there any like official tutorials out there that we can find to help us wrap our heads around this software?
Oh, absolutely. We have a lot of tutorials the fans have created, and I hosted a series of live webinars that explain not only how the track system works, but why it works that way and how to get the most out of it. Each of these 6 episodes, they're 90 minutes each. They do take a little while to get through, but I really spent time breaking down the how and the why and why it works this way, and show the benefit of doing it, of the new system that we have in place that is, admittedly, it is different than what you're used to in other systems, and even in NoLimits 1, we used a different system. The beauty and what you can really create and how smooth the track comes out by learning the new system is absolutely remarkable and a huge stepping stone forward. And something else I'll reveal to everybody with this one is that your first couple of attempts in NoLimits are going to be rough. They're not going to be up to this kind of quality. And I'll tell you that my first attempts in NoLimits, back when I was the very first person helping Ole Longa, who was the creator of that, the first time he gave me the software when we were in development to try it out, my first attempts were terrible.
Oh,
it's
no,
normal.
I have you beat.
Oh, trust me, it was terrible. And those things that I first created in there will never see the light of day.
Oh, mine's on my YouTube channel. I have a garden hose of a wooden coaster, like legitimate.
I gotta find that now.
You know what?
Oh, it's so loud. Why are you laughing? It's already janky.
Thanks.
Hands up!
I'm really scared.
Oh, wait. Hey, the turnaround's pretty awesome, though.
That's good.
What? It didn't even stop.
As we pull back into the station.
Time out.
It blew through the station.
I think it
Okay,
goes,
maybe we got to put a break at the end of that track, but
it
it's
inverts through the wooden supports too.
It was hilarious. It was great.
But hey, you know what? It's the whole point is that you're going to learn what went well, what didn't go well, how to start using the controls to your advantage, and go from there. There are a couple of key things you have to learn about NoLimits on the main building thing. Part of it is how the track is shaped as you're moving the control nodes around. Another piece is that you control the banking using separate roll nodes that are not attached to the track. And that allows you to bank around the heart line when you enable one particular setting. And you can control that separate from how you shape the track, which is just an absolutely huge innovation compared to other systems out there. And the roll system is by default automatically continuous, so it's automatically trying to average out and smooth out the rolling from one part of the track to the next. And there's a couple of controls in there to lock it in place so that it does not do that when you need to have absolutely perfect track that is not rolling to one side or the other or wiggling. And there's so many great tools like that make it so easy to build the track. As soon as you learn how they work and how to use them to your advantage, which is not that doesn't take much experimentation to figure it out, you are just off making smooth coasters really, really easily. And then it just becomes like any other big professional tool like that. Now that you know how the tool works and how to get it to do what you'd like, what can you come up with so that you can use it and create it inside the system?
You just make it sound so easy.
Yeah, and you can get to that granular point, but you can just do a basic tutorial and still learn a lot about it, and slowly take in that other information. Planet Coaster, if I'm going to be frank, is not an easy tool. If you are trying to make it do what you want NoLimits to do, if you enjoy the coaster making side of Planet Coaster, but are frustrated with the tools, try NoLimits too. It's a massive difference.
It really is. As someone who's, again, I don't have much experience in NoLimits 2, but it is. And the fact that when you smooth or depump in NoLimits, it doesn't move your track. Like, not to the degree that
right. It doesn't take away your
does.
heart line because the heart line is based around, or at least your roll is based around that heart line. Unlike Planet Coaster, which will kind of craft your heart line as you're building it, but if you use their smooth tool, it just averages out the heart line so it becomes straight again. Like you don't get that offset anymore.
Exactly. So the way that NoLimits is built around, you're moving and shaping the center line of the track that can either be directly between the rails or set to the heart line position of the riders or the train that you're using. And that's what you're moving. You're setting that path. When you add the roll nodes, you're rolling the track around that center line. So that's the kind of the key disconnect that you have to work through, is that you're shaping the center line, which is the center of the path that train is going to follow, and then you're going to roll the track around that to add the banking separate from that center path, which is really how they design real roller coasters too. All other building systems, including NoLimits 1, combine those controls. So you're shaping both the banking and the of the track and the track itself for the hills and turns, all with the same set of controls, which makes it a lot harder to do things like properly heartline the track and maintain that. Our depumping tool is able to maintain the heartline because it has nothing to do with the heartline.
Right.
It's moving that center line of the train to smooth that path out, and then the roll nodes are shaping the track around that center line. So since it's only affecting the center line path of the track, it doesn't do anything to the roll at all and maintains that perfectly.
I mean, and it sounds very foreign if you're just a core Planet Coaster player, but it's really smart and it's really ingenious the way it goes. And if you are a coaster nerd, you should know that while NoLimits 2 doesn't directly create real life coasters, it is a sketching tool that a lot of companies use.
Absolutely. There's lots of companies like Vekoma, Premier Rides, RMC, Intamin, Gerstlauer, Mauerzone. There's so many big major roller coaster companies that use NoLimits to just visualize the ideas that they're coming up with. You know, the Gravity Group, GCI, among others. And major themed entertainment companies will use it too, including people inside of Universal Creative and Disney Imagineering will use NoLimits as a way to, you know, kind of evaluate and figure out the timing and the pacing of roller coaster designs so that they can figure out how music's going to apply there or what the scenes are like or just the timing of the ride sequence, all the way up to visualizing what the final ride experience is going to be like and go from there. You know, real life roller coasters have been built based on how they were first shown inside of NoLimits. And to give you an example for how long this has been going on, if you're familiar with the stunt track coasters, formerly the Italian Job coasters at some of the Kings Island, Kings Dominion, and those parks, a long time ago, Premier Rides was working with Paramount Parks at the time, and there are some very early versions of that ride that were done inside of NoLimits, so they could figure out the timing and pacing of the ride.
Wow!
And something else I'll let you guys know, and that's NoLimits 1, so that's going to date back to about 2001, 2002,
oh my gosh,
to show you how long ago this has been happening inside the industry. And something else that I'll let you guys know, I spoke to the gentleman who was on that design team and showed us those early designs. They are hilariously awful. They are not smooth at all. The turns are pretty much squares. It is just absolutely. It would be laughed out of existence if it were to be posted publicly. Yet professional ride designers used that as part of the design process that produced a real life roller coaster. So everybody that's saying, "Oh, you have to be perfect," this, that, and the other thing is no. It actually is fine. Just getting it to a good enough state to be used professionally. So it's amazing what people are using it for. So and what you can do with it. It's just a matter of just dive in, try it, see what happens, and ask questions. The community is insanely helpful, and they'll point you in the right direction and help you out and help improve your designs. And then your third and fourth coaster, you're going to see all those elements click, and you're going to start creating really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's funny, the professionals that use NoLimits either to show or visualize a new design or something like that, they are not looking for perfection, and it's so funny that the community is driven towards the goal of perfect aesthetics and everything looks perfect, and then when the professionals use this tool, it's like, well, all right, that's good enough.
Yeah,
it gets it.
Take a look
That's
look at the mind blower videos that were posted. It's a video taken in NoLimits of what the that coaster built over in at the Fun Spot in Florida was. It's hilarious. It's got some bad track shaping. It crashes through supports a couple times, and yet this was the official rendering put out by the park of what their new roller coaster was going to be.
Wow, that makes me feel better because I'm always nervous because I know enough about roller coasters just to be dangerous. Like I know some of the manufacturers, not all, and like I told my wife the other day that she thinks I'm some kind of huge coaster nerd. I'm like, you have no idea. Like, you don't even know. And so I'm always nervous to like build something because I know that the NoLimits community, like Mike said, is so into realism and building it to specific manufacturer like specifications and stuff. And I'm just a little nervous to put my stuff out there just because I know it won't even be close.
And therein lies one of the interesting points, and it's good to bring that up, that our fans do get deep into it. And I have seen some discussions go by on the forums where they will debate for 2 full pages the angle of the lift hill and drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether or not it matched that particular style. And there are dozens of real-life pictures that are used to prove or disprove particular points of the argument going back and forth, which are completely ignoring the fact that the lens and the angle and the time of day can distort what the actual angle of that track is, to the point where and they're missing the fact that none of this really matters, and yet they're still going back and forth. So the point of all of that is when people are starting to go in that direction, ignore those people, because unless you are trying to get that exact perfect feel of that exact real ride, you can ignore those people and just simply say, hey, I'm trying to get this to be kind of like their style but not exact, and I'm trying to figure out how to make smooth track here and make get these hills to line up and get a good flow. And if you point out what you're looking for assistance with, they'll help you in that direction.
Okay, yeah, it's that level of minutia that that's not my style in any game, and that's not my style in life. I just can't be that. Like I'm a musician, and my worst thing I hated doing was woodshedding one measure of music. I can't function that way, and so just considering lift hill angles and
dive drop curves.
It's hard.
That's rail
also
colors. That was another one. There was a fight about color one day.
That's it. I'm elevating us to threat level yellow. It's time.
Yellow?
Yeah, it's time.
What were we before?
Orange, of course.
Orange is much more threatening than yellow.
Well, no, that's an old system that doesn't work anymore. Clearly, yellow is more threatening than orange.
Good yellow.
Frank, this is orange. Are you seeing this?
Red.
This is yellow.
Red.
This is that more threatening?
Yellow, orange, red. It's backwards going to yellow.
So what you're saying is just go for it.
Just go for it and ignore those people. If set up, it does help if you're looking for assistance. Say that, hey, I'm trying to do this. Here's what I'm having trouble with, or what do you think of this area of that one? And you can set up in front. It's like, I'm not trying to make a perfect copy of XYZ coaster. I'm just trying to make something that flows and works. It resembles their style, and that will kind of level set the comments you're going to get in response, and you'll be fine at that point. And then if you get the guy that goes, "No, you're doing it wrong. It needs to be like this, and this angle is a degree and 2/3 off of what it should be," you just ignore that guy and say, "Thank you very much, but that's more than I need. I'm looking at this part now."
We call them the actually crew.
Actually, you're doing it. Yeah, those are. You can ignore those people or just tell them, thank you, don't need that, it's too much, I'm not concerned about getting to that level of whatever.